Hi, I'm Keith Trim with KeithTrim.com, and I'm here with Lucky Stradley, who's an artist and sculptor, and we're going to talk about some of the work that she does. Lucky, what is it you do?
I'm a pottery sculptor. I throw vessels, bowls, mugs, lamps on a potter's wheel, and then I sculpt faces on them. And it's often considered folk art.
How long have you been doing this?
I bought my potter's wheel and my kiln 2.5 years ago.
That's not very long. What do you do with it?
I sell the work that I do on the internet, and then I also go to shows in Michigan, Georgia, and sell at shows.
Okay, if you've seen her stuff on Facebook, you know it's not the usual fare. What is it that you specialize in?
I specialize in face jug art or fantasy art. I like to take a little bit of realism and put it into fantasy art so that it's believable.
And I'm going to show you some examples of that. What got you into that?
I've always loved fantasy art. I've always loved the dragons and the hobgoblins and the trolls and the ogres and things like that. And when my children were young, I used to paint a lot of things that they wanted, and it was usually Dungeons and Dragons oriented.
So who's your customer base?
My customer base is usually about in the 20s to 80s. A lot of people like to have that unique, one-of-a-kind, hand-sculpted, handmade gift, either to give to somebody that nobody else will have one, or they want something that's unique to them. If they're working and they have a coffee cup and it has a face sculpted on it, nobody can ever say, that's my coffee cup, because it's so unique that it could only belong to that one person.
Do you do anything besides the scary stuff?
Oh, I do a lot of, sometimes I do realism. I do a lot of African ladies. I do life casting of people, actually taking the material that is plaster permeated cloth that they used to make the cast when you would break your leg, and I put that on somebody and I'll get a life cast off of their face, and so I can do a sculpture that is exactly them. Is the sculpture end up just being them, or do you do something with that afterwards? It varies. If it is a life cast that I have chosen to do for my own work, it will probably end up with horns or scales or something to take it into the fantasy venue. If it is somebody that wants a sculpture of their wife or themselves or their children, and they want it to look exactly like them, I can do a life cast sculpture of that. Okay, and right now we're in the huge town of Hubbell, Nebraska. Why did you choose Hubbell to come to do this in? I was living in Kentucky. I had been training and showing Arabian horses and doing artwork for the Kentucky Horse Park when I met a fella who had been born and grew up and lived in Hubbell his entire life. His father was a town magistrate and a blacksmith, and his mother played the piano at the Methodist Church for 45 years. So his roots were solid in Hubbell, and when we married, we moved to Hubbell. Okay, so how long have you been here doing this then? I married Carl Stradley 18.5 years ago, but we had a trucking company, and so I was helping him with that and doing art on a part-time basis. But I'm doing it on a full-time basis again. Okay. We're going to take a tour of her shop and show us a few of the things she does. Right here is a potter's wheel. Can you show that real quick? I throw the vessels on the potter's wheel, and they look like just what is traditional pottery. And then I sculpt a face on them and alter them so that they go from the traditional pottery to something that is a little different, a little bit more fantasy. Right, yeah. That's greenware. It will break real easy.
I'll be careful.
Be careful.
Greenware, unfired, right?
Yes, that means you've taken the clay, you've manipulated it the way you want, and then you let it dry. So basically it's just dry dirt or dry mud.
Okay. I want you to turn the camera real quick. Now, if somebody wanted to order some stuff from you, how would they get a hold of you?
I have a Facebook page, Lucky Stradley. I also have a blog, Lucky Stradley blog, or you can call Hubbell, Nebraska. My phone number is 402-324-4188, or my email address is lrc@gpcom.net.
Okay, is there anything about what you do that I'm not asking you that people might be interested in knowing? You're interesting enough, I'll tell you that much. It's very interesting what you do. I've never seen it. I took art in college. I was going to be an art instructor, and my advisor was the pottery teacher. So I'm familiar with what you do, but we didn't do anything even close to what you're doing.
Well, there aren't a lot of people that do what I'm doing. Like I said, there are other face jug artists, and it's kind of like if you could say I'm an oil painter, and this person's finished product would look a lot different than another person's finished product. So each person has their own distinctive style, and even the other potters that I know that do face jug art, their style looks nothing like mine.